What is up, YouTube? Today I am joined here with Jeff.
Hey guys and everybody, welcome to our first deck profile video since our new image, right? So for anyone who is curious about why we made some changes here at the channel, we are definitely still going to be doing the same type of content, but we dive more in depth into our most recent episode of, at the time of this recording, of Two Tamers Talk, episode 16. Jump on that. We talk about some changes here at the channel. But what do you have in store for us today?
Today we're going to be going over Minervamon Loop. So as you know, I've been playing Loop decks since they started way back when we first got Zwart. I played Lilithmon the day it came out as well. So this deck's, kind of just a next step of the Lilith Loop evolution. We're a little late getting this video out. I've had the deck for a while, and I've been playing as probably one of my main decks, but weren't able to record it earlier. The deck only gets better next set, so without further ado, let's get into it.
Well, I think, to your credit, you did not want to put this on film. Not film, right? You know what I'm saying, right? You didn't want to record this until you made sure. You tested the living crap out of this deck just to make sure that this is to your ratios, to your standards, and quite frankly, it's very impressive.
It's the same way when I played Lilith Loop. I mean, I changed the deck list every week, made one or two corrections here and there, and just tried to make it as good as possible over time. But so we're going to start off with, once again, the only purple egg. I'll say it every time I post one of these videos. That's going to be 4 Demi.
Because you've never played Bezelmon.
Yeah, you're right. There are niche other eggs. Moving on from that, we've talked enough about that card. We're going to go into rookies with 4 of our Gabumon on deletion, draw 2, trash 1. I mean, purple decks, you're all about deletion. You're trying to delete your 4s and your 5s. And you just need the card advantage, so draw and trash sets up everything you could ever need. Then, depending on meta, we're going to have 2 Gazis and 2 Psychmons is what I'm running right now.
I like it. Nice split.
If you don't need the Psychmons, which you probably do in this meta right now, Gazi X is another good choice to go on the Gazis for more draw, more trash. But the Psychmons are going to be very helpful in the cross art matchups, especially, or when they're playing Death X, stuff like that.
Or Blue Flare.
Yeah, Blue Flare, yeah. I mean, the deck's not the fastest. It needs to buy time, and one of the best ways of doing that is just slowing down your opponents so they can't gain memory, they can't reduce play costs. You search for the one you need, you recycle it, whatever you got to do. Only 9 rookies, because our 9th is going to be 1 Elecmon on deletion, delete, and opponent's level 3. Important things about this card: it is a steep play cost, and it is only a 1-of, but being purple, we're going to recycle it. And it deletes a rookie. That's going to be your opponent's memory deniers, mostly, if you can. But we'll talk more about why that's important later. Just know you do need to keep your opponent's board pretty clear for this deck to be really popping off.
Well, I really started liking Elecmon back in the Cherubi days. Tons, especially as a 1-of. Very, very useful. A lot of good recycling abilities. And it's very satisfying when you delete a Lucemon.
Yeah, it's been a
with the Elecmon.
Oh,
so
it's been a 1-of in every Loop deck I've played since, we got Zwart. And once it came out. Getting into our champions. Wouldn't be purple without 4 Eismons, right?
Yep.
I mean, there are other options, but it's just another deletion, draw, and trash. Set up your hand, set up your trash. Not much more to say about that. The Evo cost isn't too expensive as well. And early game, if you can, you're going to go Gabumon on your Demi-Mare into Eismon. Everyone knows if that thing dies, it's just setting up cards for days. So going with the Eismon is always the 1-of, restricted for a reason, because this card is insane.
Imagine how much better this deck would be if you could play that as a 4-of.
Imagine how much better Lilith Loop was before that went away.
Yep.
I remember, that got restricted, and people just said the deck's dead, and I had to prove them wrong. I did.
You definitely proved them wrong.
Yeah. But, I mean, playing this for free, it's huge when you can do it. You don't always get it. I mean, it's either insecurity or it's your first level 4. Things happen. But the times you get it off for free, it's just really nice. Get that engine.
I know we don't need to talk about a 1-of this much, but I always forget about the DP gain on that card.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, your turn. I mean, it's funny. You'll be
Always
swinging for
forget it.
11 or 13. It's safe.
Or, I'll swing at the level 5 thinking, you just have a level 4 on board. You're not going to be able to delete it, right? Especially if I give you 1, 2 memory, whatever. And it's like, oh, nope. He has extra DP.
Yep. He gets bigger for each scatter mode. So, I mean, he'll be plus 2, 4, 6, whatever. Another good thing to go with the Eismon is going to be a Genkakumon Promote.
Love that card.
So, I mean, you get your free Eismon, and then you can go into it for 1, you get the rush. You can hard play this for the 6. I mean, there'll be times where you're trying to gain memory. That's just your whole deck. The 1 of rush, it's nice. You don't use it most games, but when you need it, you really need it.
Yeah.
Rounding off and finishing off the champions, we actually have, I think, more champions than we do rookies. Gonna be 2 blocker Devimons. I mean, cheap Evo, but more importantly, blocker. You got ways to recycle them from trash, so, helps slow down your opponent one more time. Just the deck can be slow. You'll have rough starts here and there. I mean, we don't play a lot of Digimon in this Digimon deck.
Yes.
We'll see why in a little bit. Moving on to our level 5s, we have 4 Cerberus and 4 Cerberus Werewolf mode. You could go down maybe 3 and 4 if you really need to find room for some stuff, but the 4 and 4 consistency is just really nice. This is kind of one of the mainstays of the combo, because on play, you delete a Cerberusmon to gain 9 memory. I mean, you can play it for 9, delete this, gain the 9, or if you can play off effects, which we'll talk about later, and gain the 9 that way, you're just net gaining memory, and it's huge. We have one of level 5. That's going to be a Loosemon Chaos mode. Not necessarily needed card of the deck. However, I fell in love with this playing Loth Loop for so long. It's just easy to, play for cheap because of its own effect. You can recycle it, and it's just on play, delete a tamer, delete a level 6 or lower. I mean, you can just, so many things you can hit with it, and it's huge.
High DP body.
Oh, yeah. And then, playing as Blue Flare, you just go after their, Chris. Just slow, the one with all the swords.
Oh, you mean Kihira?
Kira.
I'm just kidding.
My apologies.
Whatever errata, whatever version of the cards you're reading, right?
Yeah. So, I'd argue it got better in this format for sure. Getting into our 6s, we're starting off with the lady herself, 4 of Minervamon.
So for those of you who don't know what the Minerva Loop does, please do a quick explanation for us.
How about we save that for when we get to the option we need?
Trust you.
Let's talk about so what this card does, opponent's turn, when they play a Digimon, you can play level 4 or lower from your trash without paying its cost. You do not get on plays for that effect. However, playing against things like Jessmon, Crossheart, stuff where they're trying to play multiple things in one turn, this is not a once per turn, which is really nice. Because, you can just free play your Eismons, your Gazimons, try to stop memory gain is huge. I mean, they get Crossheart one time, and then you free play a Psychmon, so they can't do it again that turn, ideally. Or you can get your Devimon blockers playing against Jessmon and stuff like that. That's really nice. Has retaliation, so it's really easy to get rid of opponent's board states with it. And then the reason that part's important, on deletion, play a level 5 or lower purple Digimon or a Minervamon, which we don't have yet.
Not yet.
Really excited for that set. It's going to be great. We're going to get another video going for that, absolutely, because I'm building it right away. But play level 5 or lower from trash without paying its cost. No restrictions as long as it's level 5. And you get on-play effects for that effect. So you can get your Loosemon for the deletion. You can get your Cerberusmon to delete, or your Werewolf to delete a Cerberus if you have one, which we'll talk about why you will. And doing that, you're going to gain a bunch of memory as well.
Yeah.
Then just finishing off our backup 6s, we're going to have one of Lilithmon.
Yeah, so this whole idea was a Lilithmon loop, but obviously the Minerva has taken that spot, huh?
Yeah, so the original loop was Lilithmon and Zwart, Omnimon Zwart, using Lilithmon to recycle options just to gain a bunch of memory. Well, now we have other ways to gain a bunch of memory, but not a lot of ways to recycle options. We can recycle the Digimon, but Lilithmon's the only way to grab, one of the few ways to grab back some of these options. So I think it's an important one of a lot of times you're just missing that 1 or 2 options you need. You can go here for the 3, pick up some options, use some options, gain a little bit of that memory back, and extend your plays and
Got it.
help with consistency. Not again, the card not needed every game. Sometimes you're just going to ditch these first chance you get, but in the late game, you're going to find that they're pretty helpful sometimes. Then we have a 1 of Nidhoggmon. Important part about this is when you trash it with one of your effects, gain a memory.
Wow.
That's the best part of the card. It's not bad on the when digivolving. It allows you to trash card from your hand to lead opponents level 4 or lower. You'll use it, but you're really trying to get the memory off the trashing effect.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the Cerberus on deletion draw 2 trash 1 while you're trying to delete this to your Cerberus Werewolf. So the whole combo just requires you trashing cards from hand. Getting that extra memory can be really nice.
Got it.
We also have a fancy one of Avenge Kidmon.
This is a purple deck. What's a red card doing here?
This card grew on me recently, actually.
Okay.
I've seen it in a lot of decks before, and I never gave it a go, but trying it out, I mean, the deck's just so option heavy, even with your opponent having no options in their trash. This is going to be just one of the cheapest things to hard play.
You played that for free against me in our testing. How many times yesterday?
A couple.
At least a couple. I mean, you know.
And how many options did you have in your trash?
0.
So it was all my own. So, spoiler alert, we're playing a lot of options. But this is great because the deck, you're going to be drawing and trashing a lot of cards.
Yeah, you're kind of in and out. So, yeah you draw power is insane.
I've decked out a few times because I was 1 attack away from winning, and this really just gets rid of that whole problem.
Which, that's crazy to me because I remember a key game in yesterday's testing, right? I thought for sure, like, I may not be able to win. I may not be able to do the last security check I need to, but the way you're going through cards, you're decked out, right? And then all of a sudden an Avenge Kid gets plopped down. You just added X amount of cards back to your deck, and I'm like,
14?
I lost.
13?
I just lost because of that. So
yeah, because I was 1 attack away, right?
Yes, you were 1 attack away. Yep.
The Avenge Kid does work. It can also be removal piece. And I mean, it's just great against like 3 Musk, which we still have, 1 or 2 in the local scene, as well as just any option heavy deck. Worst case scenario, you're playing it for cheap, killing a body, and it's just, an 11k beater at that point, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, last Digimon in the deck, I know there's not very many, but that's going to be our 49+1 Death Xmon. Have to do it. Purple deck. I mean, you can Digivolve to it here. You can recycle it because it's purple, and I mean, you're going to be drawing and trashing. You're going to find the 1 of. This card needs to be restricted. I agree. But, I mean, we're ready for it. We're only playing 1. All right. Now we're going to start talking about the options.
Let's talk about some options, because
this is where we get kind of crazy on.
This is where I'm loving the deck. Like, obviously, I love everything else you got going on here, but I think it's the options that makes this deck insanely strong.
Yeah, so first we're going to play Throwback to BT5, old school, nobody ever played this, Revive from Darkness.
Love that card.
I mean, until now, nobody even knew what this did, but it's going to be delete 1 of your Digimon, play a level 5 or lower purple from your trash. Do not get on-play effects for that. But if you delete 1 of your Digimon with an on-deletion, you get their on-deletion effect.
Correct.
So if your opponent has 2 or less Digimon, you play your Revive for Darkness for 4 memory, you delete your Minervamon, and then with the Revive from Darkness, you have to finish resolving the option first, so you're going to play your Cerberusmon. It's a level 5, so you're going to play it for free. Then with the Minerva on-deletion effect, you're going to play a Cerberusmon Werewolf mode. Its on-play will trigger from Minerva, so you'll delete the Cerberusmon, gain back 9 memory, so you're going up at least 5, sometimes more. And then you're going to draw 2 trash 1 to the on-deletion of the Cerberusmon, and then this guy has Rush. So you're net gaining 5 memory, getting another attack in. And then ideally, you can go into another Minerva, do another Revive, or you can go into your Lilith, pick up some options, whatever you got to do from there. But it's gaining you memory and applying pressure. And I mean, if you have the cards, you're going to be, 3 Minervas and 3 Revives in 1 turn. You're going to be at 10 memory, and then you're just going to start hard playing your Werewolf modes just to apply that pressure, or your Genkaku promotes if you got them.
Absolutely nutty combo. And that's the loop. That's basically, I mean, obviously, this whole deck is for the loop, but that's your core.
That's the core, right? That's going to be, until next set, that is the core for now. And, I mean, next set, the deck's going to get, I think, pretty good, more consistent, I think, overall. But, I mean, it's going to be just as fun, and absolutely give that a try. it gets kind of crazy when your opponents are just like, you did what? Keeping consistent with memory gain, we're going to play 3 Jack Raids. This, I used to play less. You could still play less, but there are some times your opponent's giving you 1 and you have to be at 3 because you got your level 5 and you need to get to 6. Because if you have the Minerva and you have the Revive, and these are in, sources or in trash, you got the combo. But if you're at, 1 or 2 memory and you're stuck at level 5, you're going to have a rough time. So we're up to 3 Jack Raids. I used to play 2 for a while. You can easily find room for a 4th if you want to.
Well, I know you added 1.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason why you did was because it's my favorite card to hit in security.
Just for you.
That's for me. I absolutely love it when my opponent just gains 2 memory on my turn.
All right, then we're going to get into the 1-ofs. We got our obviously only 1-of Calling from Darkness.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep. I mean, not much to say. Recycle your Death X, recycle any of your Digimon except for the Avenge Kid, which you realistically don't need more than once a game, probably.
If that wasn't restricted, would you play that as a 2-of, 3-of?
I don't think so for this deck. I mean, I played it as a 1-of even before. I mean, the restriction got announced, and I said, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Beelzemon and Imperial, I don't think anyone's missing it.
Got it.
And then we got our 1 Deathclaw, delete 1 of your Digimon, delete a level 4 or lower of your opponent's. This is good for when you want to use your Minerva combo, but your opponent has 3 Digimon, right? So you're going to delete your Minerva to delete 1 of theirs, then resolve the on-deletion to get to play something. I mean, not much more to say about that. It's also good removal just in general. You can delete your Elecmon, pop a 3 and a 4, whatever it's got to be. Come out of security, delete a level 4. It just can really buy you time, save games coming out of security.
Very useful.
Keeping consistent with that, costs an extra memory, but we're going to talk about Pandemonium Flame.
Yeah.
This is another somewhat new addition, but it's going to be delete 1 of your Digimon to delete 1 of your opponent's unsuspended with the same or lower level. So you can delete up to level 6 with the Minerva. I've deleted my Death X before to, get 1 of theirs if I had, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Coming out of security deletes anything unsuspended, so that's just like Trump Sword was always been good. And I mean, if you're killing bodies, then you're getting in range for Minerva combos.
Correct.
Then we have 1 of Back for Revenge. This card doesn't have a security effect. This is before they thought options were supposed to have security effects. That's how old it is. And yet, this is the first time it's ever been played is once again in this deck. When your Digimon on deletion, replay it. You don't get on-play effects, but you're still going to trigger your deletion effects. You're going to play it again. So, for your Minerva, you're going to get your combo off, get a Cerberus, replay the Minerva, be ready to go again for another, for only 2 memory. And I mean, you're going to draw and trash into it. If it's in security, you can pick it up with Lilith, but there's just no point. Last option we'll talk about is Dead or Alive. Another thing that came out of my Lilith Loop days that you don't see in a lot of deck lists. But it's for 8 memory, play a level 5 from trash, and then the other unimportant effect, if you have 10 or more cards, you can play a Loosemon, while our Loosemon's already a level 5 purples.
Easy.
But for 8 memory, you can play your 9-cost Cerberus. You do get on plays, so you can actually net gain 1, deleting a Cerberusmon, or you can just play your Loosemon to get the removal piece, and at that point, it's just a Gaia Force plus a bot. So,
very useful.
Great option. Give it a shot. Let us know what you think. Then, rounding out the deck with our Tamers, we have 3 copies of Analog Youth. This is how you're going to gain extra memory off your Cerberusmon deletion triggers, or when you're deleting your Minervamon, get the memory back. And I mean, the memory gain plus the card advantage is just huge. Unfortunately, I just can't find room for a 4th because, I mean, gotta play 14 options, right?
Yeah.
Gotta get that free Avenge Kit. Last card in the deck, 1 Matt Ishida. Recycles things, then it's a 3-setter. Like I said before, sometimes your opponent's trying to give you 1 or 2, and it can just really mess you up. So, but that's the deck list. What do you think?
It's an absolute terrifying deck. This deck rocks. For those of you that love fun combo decks, for those that love purple, or for those that just straight up didn't know what the Minerva Loop was and have to be, and would like some good explanation, try this list. You're going to love it. I know it.
Yeah, this deck takes a lot of practice. I mean, I've got it down pretty good, and yet I'm still finding new ways to play it every day. I mean, there's just so many different little tiny combos and ways to do everything. It takes a lot of practice. But I mean, to me, that's why the deck keeps being fun and
Yeah.
relevant, is because, every couple of games I learn something new about the deck, or there's a new problem to work through. So, I mean, it's huge. Other things, honorable mentions for backup sixes. Mastamon's a good choice. Get the free play in level 4, Trash Security. You can do Creepymon for the mill and extra power. Anubismon's not a terrible choice. There's a lot of decent options out there. These are just the two I've been liking the most, and it might be a little bit of bias, but they've been working well for me.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, let us know what you think in the comments.